Hello friends and welcome to the May release for La La Land Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a couple of projects that I made using some of the new products that came out this month. I will also leave the entire release linked below so you can go check it out, some of the stuff that I haven't used yet. And I'm going to start off showing you this one, and this is the one that I showcased on the blog yesterday and was on the La La Land Crafts blog. And this is a poster that I made using the Cured Yet clear stamp set, and also I've got Dr. Marcy and Nurse Luca. There's also a Dr. Luca and a Nurse Marcy that came out, but I used this combination for this one, and then all these adorable little pigs from the clear stamp set. Also, I used some of the dies that kind of came out. This was a club kit that came out a while back and now has been released out into the general population. So we've got the pill bottle and the heartbeat. I also decided in this one to use Rockstar because if you see there, I have it, the sentiment says nurses are rock star heroes, and then thank you for all you do. This is something that I was going to take to work and put up in my intensive care unit just to kind of thank my coworkers because we have been just an awesome team lately. In the background, I used the new paper pack, the Spring Has Sprung paper pack, because I just love the patterns that are on it, and it made a really nice quilt, and that is what I was going for because in the ICU, quilts are kind of a special thing, so I decided to put it on a quilted background. Now this one here is the one that I'm going to kind of show you how I did this. So I am terrible, absolutely terrible at stenciling and masking. And Irina came out with this awesome stamp set with the windows, and it's got a lot of, it's got its own masking set that you can get. You can add that on to the stamp set when you purchase it, and it just helps to do this whole masking scene. And then we've also got this totally awesome stencil set, and the stencil is called, let me see, I wrote it down because I know I think it's tree. I'm gonna find it here in a second. This stencil is called Tree in Bloom, and it came out in April. So here is a quick peek at the masking set, and that matches all of the stamps that come in the Hello There stamp set. And here is the stencil set. Like I said, this one is called Tree in Bloom. And we've got both the positive and the negative piece of the tree, and then we've got the leaves and we've got some flowers. So I'm going to show you how I did this because, like I said, I am absolutely horrible at stenciling and masking. It's actually one of my fears when I'm put to test to try to do something like this. And it took me a while, which is why I'm going to show you how I do it. So that way, if you're not confident like I'm not of my masking and stenciling abilities, I'm going to show you how I did it because this is much easier way for me, and this might work for you as well. So I'm going to take a pen that is alcohol friendly, and this is a Staedtler pen, but you can use any Copic friendly marker, and I'm just going to go around. I've placed my stencil where I want it to go, and I'm just going to outline the tree, and then this gives me what I'm going to use to color in with my Copic markers, and that's what I did on the finished product. And I'm going to put a part of a tree at the top and a part of the tree at the bottom because I decided to make like a little apartment building with the trees around it and then people in the little windows kind of looking out. Well, one people and then the puppy with the pie. So what you do here now, once you have that all outlined, you can color that in with your Copic markers and you are done. Like, that's the easiest way for me to do it because when I tried to do this with ink blending, I made a mess all over my paper. I just can't do it. I don't know why, but I'm stencil challenged. I just can't do it. And I'm not a big fan of single layer cards. I love looking at them. I think like Kelly Latavola, she makes the most gorgeous one layer cards that I've ever seen, but I just can't do it. I like dimension and I like things. I just can't. I'm just terrible at it. So instead of giving up, I decided to play around and see if there was a way for me to figure out how to do this without wanting to throw it out the window. So I'm going to take the part that popped out of the tree because she includes that in your stencil set. And you can see here, I just covered up the tree that I had used my pen on. And now I'm just going to stamp my window. So your mask, so to speak, for the tree is covering up the parts because you want the tree in the front and the window in the back, unless you have a tree growing inside your apartment. And then I'm just going to clean off my stamp here and put it away. And then I just lift up the mask and we'll move it to the other side. And I just used a baby white baby wipe to clean them off. That way I keep them somewhat clean. Now I'm going to reposition my card base, or my card panel, I should say. Place down the stencil again. And here's one of the things, a little tip. Don't put your washi tape holding it down where you plan on stamping, because I did that, and you'll see what happens when you do that. It's an easy enough fix with your pen, so I've got my Staedtler pen still sitting there, and I will fix it, but you can see that my washi is going right where my window needs to go, so I kind of missed that whole little part where the washi is, and it didn't stamp through, but I ended up just using my pen to go through and put the window back in. But you want to keep, if you're going to hold it down with washi, you need to put it not where your window is going to go. So I'm going to stamp out my window here, and I'm using a stamp platform because my ink pads are getting kind of dry and I need to replace them, but I haven't had a chance to yet. My Michaels doesn't seem to want to carry any of the good stuff, so I either have to order them or wait for Hobby Lobby to finally open their doors back up so that I can go and replace my stamp pads. So stamp platform comes in really handy when you don't have any ink or your pads are getting dry. So now I have finished putting my windows down. I've got my stencil still in place for the tree, or my mask, I should say. That's not the stencil half, that's the masking half. And now I'm going to work on the bricks. So your window set comes with both wood panels and bricks, and I'm going to use the bricks. I made myself the easiest mask for these windows because they're basically just squares. One of them has some shutters and the other one just has a frame around it. So I just took some Post-it, stamped out on the Post-it, trimmed it out with my scissors, and then I just stick it on the back of my stamp packaging to use again, like I have right here. Now I'm just going to take some London Fog. Now you can use, obviously it's a brick pattern, so you can also use like a red or something like that, but I just chose the London Fog, and I'm just going to stamp right over. So we've got the stencil over the tree, not stencil, I keep saying stencil, the mask over the tree and the mask over the window. And so that way your bricks are only going to show up behind the tree and behind the window. Now for the bottom one, I'm just going to use a piece of Post-it because just that middle part is where I'm going to stamp this set of bricks. And then when I go to stamp the bottom, I will place the actual window stencil and the tree stencil back in place where they go. And then that way, when I stamp the bottom, again, it'll be behind the tree and behind the window. And that's it. I mean, this is so much easier for me than having to do the multiple layers of masking and stenciling. And when you do the leaves, I'll show you how I do the leaves and the flowers, because again, I am terrible at it, and instead of me trying to mask off every little leaf and every little flower and get it in place, what I ended up doing was just what I'm going to show you now. So I'll just wait until I get to that part instead of jumping ahead. But you can kind of see up in the corner up there the little leaves. So yeah, now I'm saying, look at, I forgot and left that washi in the wrong place. So now I'm just going to fill that part of my window in, which I don't know why I'm doing this because this literally is going to go in the trash. This is not even stamped on Copic friendly paper. This was just to show you how I did it, but I didn't want to waste my good paper. You can see here on the side, that's Copic friendly paper, and I don't want to waste it, so I use it for like all the little flowers and the little leaves. So I'm going to show you how I did it. You can see the flowers there. So the same thing as I did with the tree, I'm going to do with the leaves. I'm going to take my pen and I'm just going to trace each one of these little leaf patterns. I did the same thing with the flowers. You can see all those little flowers over there. And if you have a scan and cut and you space these out enough, you don't even have to fussy cut. You can just run it through your scan and cut before you actually color it in. Or if you have the color version, it might work. But you don't even have to fussy cut if you have one, which I do, but I ended up still fussy cutting them because, I don't know, I was just watching a show and sitting there coloring and cutting, and I wasn't really paying attention. But then after I was done, I realized, oh, I have a scan and cut. I don't know why I didn't do that. Now for the girl, and I'm going to show you with the cat. So they all have a stencil. I cannot get these two words straight. They all have masks. Everything in this little stamp set right here has a mask that you can get as an add-on to your stamp set. So if you order it, Irina will send it out with your stamp set and you will have exactly what I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to stick the cat in the window just to show you how I did the windows. It might be a little bit hard to see, at least I can't see it that well on my screen, but I think if you look behind the little girl, you see all those dots behind her. So I wanted to do something on the wallpaper, like a wallpaper type thing behind her, but I didn't really have, I was kind of in a hurry and I didn't really have anything. So it was kind of a thought, last minute thought. So what you can do is stamp your image, take your mask, which these are vinyl, so you can stick them, use them, wipe them off, stick them, use them, wipe them off, and they will last you a lot of times. So these things will last a really long time. And then you just take, for me, what I did was I took the Snowy Hills stencil and I just took those little dots and I cheated. I grabbed, instead of using ink, the blending ink, I just grabbed a marker. I grabbed a yellow and I grabbed a pink and I just started filling in the dots that were inside of the frame so that I didn't go over the frame. And that's how I did the background. Now you can do the same thing, like if you have any of the stencils with the stripes, or you can even just use use a ruler and make striped wallpaper back there. You can do all kinds of stuff because your cat or person or whatever you have in the window is marked off. It's masked off so that you can do whatever you need to do inside that window and not mess up your image. And that's it. And then you pull your mask off, wipe it off with your little baby wipe or whatever you're going to use to keep your stencils clean or your masks clean. I can't stop saying it, it's just going to happen. Just you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Put your mask away so you don't lose them, because they are little and they will get lost if you don't. I already had to go on a treasure hunt for one of them. And then you can color in your images. Now, I had a few of the leaves left over from the ones that I colored and fussy cut out, and you just start placing them all over your tree, then place your little springtime flowers in there, and you are good to go. And that is how I made my card, with kind of like not really masking and stenciling, I guess. This is my cheater way of doing it. I also used the Spring has Sprung paper pack. I stamped out the curtains and then I fussy cut those out. I also have my sentiment from the same stamp set from the Hello There, and it's You've Been on My Mind. And then the tag that you pull out says, Hello, I miss your face. And I thought this was just super cute. And I backed it all with some yellow cardstock that I cut out using the scalloped rectangle dies. So here's another look at both of the projects that I made. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you guys enjoy this release as much as we do, and that you have a chance to check out all the other projects. I will see you again real soon with some more projects from La La Land Crafts. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.